Hello everybody, it's Niklas and welcome to this new video on Cavalry, and in this video we are going to see how to create gradients. Subscribe to this YouTube channels if you like the content. First link on the description, the complete course Cavalry is available, so if you want to learn this software starting from scratch with a course structure, it will be on the first link on the description. You will see the models session of the course, what you will be able to learn. You will master all the conception part and all the animation part with Cavalry. First link on the description. Second link on the description, the website in link with these YouTube channels. You can learn software, discover software in these YouTube channels. And second link on the description, it is a summary of all the graphic courses available. You can pick a course and learn any graphic software. So let's start with the gradient. So how to create a gradient? Something that I'm going to do, it is to create a rectangle on this area. And then I will use my selection tool. If you want to add a color, you can just pick a color on the right on the color wheel. But if you want to add a gradient, you need to go on the options in the attribute editor. So you can double click here on what you want to select. Here, this is a rectangle shape, and I will go on the fill options, and on the fill option here, you can define a color as well on this area. And if you want to add a gradient, you have right click here to add a shader. And the gradient will arrive with a shader. So you need to go right click, add a shaders, and after that you can select the gradient shader. You can change you can replace the color of your rectangle by different type of shaders. So you have multiple type of shaders that you can use to fill your rectangle to replace the color. In this case, we will use gradient shader. So now I have gradient shader linked to the rectangles, and when I go on this panel here, you can see the gradient shaders, and on this area we have the link to the rectangle shapes. Now how to edit the gradient? You double click on the gradient shaders, and you can select what type of gradient you want to have. If I define none, I don't have any gradient. If I come back to linear, I have a linear gradient. So you can create a linear with 2 points or more. Here, linear gradient, you can double click on the first point to define a first color, and double click on the second point to define, for example, a second color. Then, after to do this type of work, you can also, if you want to add, for example, more points, you can go left click here, and I can add another point, like yellow color, or left click here and add another one, like for example the purple color. And here I can dragging and moving this one, dragging and moving this one, or dragging and moving this one. If you want to delete a point, you just need to click on a point and you press delete on the keyboard. I can click on this one, press delete on the keyboard. So now how to adjust your point. To adjust your point, you can take a point and you can dragging and moving like this, or I can take this one and dragging and moving like this. So it means you can reduce at your convenience if you need. But you can also dragging and moving the point here and dragging and moving the point here as well. When you continue a little bit, here this is a gradient, and you can change the position of this one and the position of this one as well. You can scale your gradient outside or inside, and you can then create a rotation just below, and you can create a rotation just like this also, just here. So after to do this work, you can even create an offset on the x-axis or on the y-axis. So this is how you can create a gradient. After you have more options. I will select this rectangle and I will go right click here, I will delete on the keyboard, then click on this one, right click, delete on the keyboard. I will create a circle just like that. I will press shift to keep the proportion, define a color on the right, and maybe I can center my circle on my composition. You have other type of gradients that you can use. One more time, fill, right click, add a shaders, gradient shaders. And after to add the gradient shaders, just like this, I will double click on the gradient to edit this one. And I will change linear this one for example, you have different options. I can use something like conicals. If you use conical, it is same. You can define a first color. Let's define a second color. And you can one more time work with this value. You can change in this type of case the start radius, so you can decrease or increase the start radius. You can create an offset with a position X and Y axis, as you can see. And yes, you can definitely have all the type of options that you need when you want to create your gradient. You can also dragging and moving the different elements here. So it means I can extend with this point. I can take this one to extend inner radius, outer radius, but I can also take this point if I want to adjust the color. So you have different type of option. And as you can see, you can create this type of gradient. Let's just click on the gradient shader one more time and replace conical for example, a radial gradient. One more time, you can select 2 points. I can select again, for example, the red color, and here I can select something like yellow color. And one more time, you have options, and this time you have the X and Y scale value. You can also increase or decrease, and you can change the position on the X axis. You can also put a negative value just like that. And then you can turn your element as well. But you can also focus on the different point directly here if you want to adjust your gradient. Let's just continue. You can find a shape gradient also. The shape gradient is, you have like polygon inside, and it means you can use a bounding box or a fixed radius. Let's just use a bounding box. And on this area, if I continue a little bit, I can change the number of sides that I want. And after to do this type of work, you can focus on the X and the Y axis, but I forgot to display 2 colors. Let's display a dark blue color and display a clear blue color. You can also add more points if you need. And after it is same, you just need to follow the different elements, and all these properties possible to animate. I'm going to show you with the last one. So I can use for a sweep gradient. So here, for example, we have a sweep gradient, just like this. And this sweep gradient, I can define a first color like this one. And I can define a second color like, for example, this one. So after that, I can change here, as you can see, the depth. You can change, for example, the degress. So you have different options that you can use. If I want to animate any properties that I have here, I can just click on what I want to animate. For example, I can set a keyframe here, and I can set a keyframe like for this one, maybe this one, this one. I can set a keyframe for all these different elements at 0, and I can say maybe I will go at 40, and at 40 I will move like this, and I will turn around as well, just like that. So if I play my animation, I can also even animate a gradient. So the great things in this software, you can animate any properties. So you can have a lot of properties, and you can animate any type of properties. If I go at 80, maybe at 80 I can also change what I can change here. It is just the center point, but I can also change the center point as well, and maybe the number of digress, and here the depth, to do something like this. But it's just if you want to center the center point, if you want to stay at 0 from the center point, I can just stay at 0, and I just animate the turn like this. And if I just come back, I will be able to do this type of work, as you can see. So this is the type of things that you can do. So after, you can animate any type of properties at your convenience. So you just need to dragging and moving on the timeline, and you can animate the properties that you need. So that's it. We are going to stop here for this video. If you like, subscribe to this YouTube channel. The complete course Cavalry is available on the first link on the description. You will see the model session of the course. It is a complete course, a lot of hours of training content. We see all the software in details, all the conception part and all the animation part. The aim is to master Cavalry software to create every type of animation. First link on the description, the complete course. Second link on the description, the website in link with this YouTube channel. You can discover software in these YouTube channels. And second link on the description, it is like an online school with a lot of graphic courses, and you can pick a course and learn any graphic software. For the next video on this channel, see you. Ciao.